Balozi wa Palestina nchini Tanzania, Hamdi Mansour AbuAli, ametoa wito kwa jumuia za kimataifa kuchukua hatua za haraka dhidi ya vitendo vya kinyama vinavyofanywa na serikali ya Israel. Akizungumza na waandishi wa habari ofisini kwake jijini Dar es Salaam, Balozi AbuAli amezitaka jumuia za kimataifa kuhakikisha zinazuia unyanyasaji, ubaguzi na uvamizi unaendelea kufanywa na Israel katika ardhi ya Wapalestina. Amesema ripoti ya shirika la haki za binadamu iliyotolewa April mwaka huu imeweka wazi vitendo vya kinyama ambavyo vimekuwa vikiendeshwa na Israel katika ardhi ya Wapalestina, na kwamba Israel imeendelea kukita mizizi katika ubaguzi wa kidini, rangi sambamba na kuwaondoa Palestina kwenye makazi yao kisha kutawala kwa mabavu, jambo ambalo halikubaliki. Amesema ni wakati sasa kwa jumuiya za kimataifa kutumia njia yoyote kuhakikisha Israel haiendelei kusababisha umwagaji damu kwa kutwaa ardhi ya Wapalestina ambao hawako tayari kuipoteza.
The cause and the root of all of the problem in Palestine and in the Middle East is the presence of occupation. There is occupation. If the whole world said that Israel is occupying Palestinian land, okay? We should stop occupation. If we stop occupation, most of the problems, if not all, will end. We call Israel so many times for peaceful resolutions and for peaceful agreements to end the occupation of Israel to the Palestinian land. The Arabs have put an initiative in front of Israel, let's have peace, and we gave them 78% of our land. And we accepted of being alive in 22% of our land for the sake of having peace and to end this conflict. Israel rejected that. Israel wants 120% of Palestine. Palestine and some of Jordan, some of Lebanon, some of Syria. This is what is happening. The problem is occupation. What do we want? We want to end the occupation. What do we want from our friends and colleagues and the international community? To end occupation. To call Israel to stop its racist regime. To call Israel to stop its apartheid regime. To call Israel to respect international laws. To call Israel to respect the UN resolutions. Israel itself was created by the UN resolution, by the way. The only country that does not respect UN resolution is Israel. Although it is the only country that was created by resolution of the United Nations. We call on the whole world to guide Israel to stop its crazy practices and listen to peace, listen to normality, listen to live and let us live. But what is being practiced today is only practices that will replace Palestinians by Israeli Jews. That's all. This is what we are seeing. Our identity is in danger. Our own existence is in danger because of Israeli practice. This is what we are calling for. We are calling for things that the whole world called for, that the Arabs call for, the Africans call for, the Asians call for, the Europeans are supporting this. We need to exist and live in our own country. That's all. There is means and measures that has been decided by the whole world combined, by consensus of everybody in the UN, by consensus of Tanzania, Uganda, China, Russia, Europeans, Americans, all of that, all of these countries, consensus on measures and tools to end the conflict. The only obstacle against this is Israel. They don't want. They want everything. They don't want our existence. They don't want us to be in our own land. Our calls and cries are straightforward. They are known. We want what the whole world agrees on. We want what the whole world calls for. We want what the United Nations, is this Is there another tool that combines the international community's consensus on an issue besides the UN? There is nothing. We are respecting the UN resolutions. We are calling on Israel and calling on America and calling on the whole world to force Israel to implement UN resolutions that we agreed on. That's all. 7 families now. Now there is 7 families. 7 families. And 200,000 Palestinians. Why I'm telling you this is a series and this is one episode. That the 7 families is part of 200,000 Palestinians have been evacuated, pushed out of the city. And you know the story of these 7 families. Those 7 families and those houses, after 1948, when the first occupation of Israel to the Palestinian land took place, West Jerusalem has Palestinian inhabitants. They were forced by the war to leave West Jerusalem to go to East Jerusalem. These families are part of those who were pushed by force by Israel outside of West Jerusalem to live in East Jerusalem in houses that belong to the Jordanian government.
Ili kwa wa kwanza kupata habari zetu, tafadhali usisahau kusubscribe, like na kucomment.